and we are now joined by Josh Berry, driver of the number 4 Stewart Haas Racing Ford. If you have a question for Josh, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Who would like to start us off? All right, start with Blake.
Josh, Hendersonville right down the road. What does it mean to be at your home track here at Nashville Superspeedway? And how did it go Thursday night at Nashville? Did you enjoy being on the short track?
Yeah, no, it's exciting to be back here in Nashville. Obviously, growing up here, I've come here as a kid and watched races, so it's excited to be back here in the Cup Series. I think that the way we've been running, it's encouraging that we can come have another good race. And Thursday night was a lot of fun. Wish I would have run a little bit better. We moved forward throughout the race, got to 5th. Just needed to be a little bit faster, needed a little bit better track position to compete for the win. But first time there, first time working with that group, I thought I had a lot of fun. It was fun to go back there and race and see a lot of people, and hopefully we can go back and do that again.
Let's go to Chris.
ChrisKnightCatchments.com. Josh, you've had a great pace the last couple of weeks, and I was just wondering how you feel about that pace moving forward and here at Nashville Superspeedway this weekend.
Yeah, I feel obviously, we've had good pace the last couple of weeks, but really the last couple of months I feel like have been a big step in the right direction. Even earlier in the year, we saw potential in I feel like several races there. We just weren't able to put the whole piece together. I think I feel confident in our group. I think our cars are handling well. I think they're faster. I'm getting more comfortable. Getting more used to Cup racing in general. And, I feel like as we go through this summer stretch, I think this should be another good opportunity for us to run well. And there's several other tracks coming up, too, that I feel good about.
Can you win before the playoffs start?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we've led laps at Iowa. We were in contention on a late restart, obviously, at New Hampshire. I'm not saying that I feel like we're expected to or should win, but I think we can. I think our cars are getting competitive enough, and it might take the right sequence of events, I guess, but we keep finding ourselves in those positions. Sooner or later, something's going to happen.
Okay, we'll go to John Newby and then to Jordan.
John Newby, alt driver. So, Josh, earlier in the year, the intermediate tracks, they didn't go the way you wanted them to, but getting progressively better finishes with each one as the season's progressed. Obviously, avoiding mistakes is a key part of it, avoiding other drivers with incidents, but is there something that from your end that's made the intermediates a little bit easier for you as time has progressed?
I think, really, I think back, the first one was Vegas. That was a little bit of Vegas is a tough intermediate, I think, in the next-gen car. We learned a lot throughout that race. We actually found ourselves kind of knocking on the door of the top 15 to the end, but definitely got considerably better and learned a lot. And kind of took that to Texas, kind of had the same experience, got better throughout the race. Me and the 47 made contact into one, and I wrecked. But we were right outside the top 10 there, too. And then I think we were just able to put all that together for Charlotte, practice and qualify a little bit better, stay in the, really in the top 10 or 12 the whole race. So I think the intermediates, that's probably where, SHR as a whole needs to be better or has needed to be better in the last couple of years. But I think the big thing there is just adapting the car to how I like to drive it on the intermediate versus what Kevin did. I think that the short tracks has been I just hop in and go with what he runs. The intermediates hasn't been quite the same, and it took us a little bit to figure that out. And once we started figuring that out, the speed came and the results came. So hopefully we can continue that on this week.
Can you provide a little bit more about the way that you prefer to drive on the intermediates as opposed to Kevin's style?
I don't know if it's a combination. It could be a number of things. Obviously, they have a different body too, so the body's update could be different. But it just seems like that I need the car to be tighter, mostly getting into the corner. I think is what I've noticed from what Kevin drove. But obviously, there's an offset with the aero side of things with the body too. So it's kind of a combination of all that. I feel like. but pretty much, the early intermediates, we would be too loose to start the race, be too loose in qualifying. When we tightened it up, I would go fast, and it's like once we started figuring that out, that was kind of where we got to, and really each one of them we've gotten better and better.
All right, we'll go to Jordan.
What you got?
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. When the news came out about SHR, collectively everybody's kind of like unknown about their futures, and there's a lot of uncertainty. Do you feel like more optimistic now that you're going to have a spot in the Cup Series next year than maybe you were, a month ago when the news kind of started coming out?
Yeah, I feel good about having a spot in the Cup Series next year. I think that our results have been really strong the last couple months. I don't really know other than winning a race, or really just winning a race. I think at this point is really all left I can do. We finished in the top 5. We ran up front. We led laps. We showed the potential that we can do. So I think that that's been a big confidence boost for me. And I really think that whole situation, at least for myself and our team, it's just you find a lot about yourself when your back's against the wall, and I think everybody's performing at a really high level, the highest probably we've ever have, and we're fighting together, and I feel like the opportunities will come.
Rodney spoke about this the other day on Sirius about how you guys, it kind of seems to ebb and flow about whether you guys are going to be able to remain together next year or not. Just want to get it from your perspective of, do you guys think you'll be able to stay together next year wherever you end up?
Yeah, I definitely, I agree with his side of things. There's been, we've had a ton of discussions, right, all kinds of different things. And like I said, some days you feel like it's more possible than others. I would love to stay with Rodney. I know he feels the same way, but, I really can't say for sure. But I think in time will tell. There's been some opportunities out there where maybe that's possible. There's some other opportunities where we're not as sure if that's possible. But, we're going to keep trying to, provide results on the track like we have been the last couple months. And, having races like we had at Iowa and last week at New Hampshire is, that's the biggest audition there is, right? That we're working together well, and the way I look at it is it's no risk, it's turnkey. You plug us in there and put the right people around us. We're going to run like we do now.
All right, we're going to go down the line in the middle here. We're going to go to Reed, Lee, and then Jim.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. Before the Olympic break, you'll have your first chance to race on the Indy Oval. This will be the 30th anniversary of NASCAR's first race there. Is that as exciting a prospect for drivers of your generation as it was back in 1994 when they first raced there?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm super excited for that. I definitely think we should be on the Oval. Like a lot of us grew up watching the Brickyard 400, the Indy 500. I think it's going to be really exciting to go back and get on the Oval, and hopefully the next gen car races well there. I feel like it will, and it's going to be a lot of unknowns going back there for the first time, but it's definitely something we're all really excited for.
Lee Spencer, SiriusXM NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. You told me when I interviewed you at Gateway that you would have been happy just being the best badass driver in late models, but then you get this opportunity. And my question is, once you got to the point where you do get to the big leagues, you get that Cup ride, and then you're faced a year later with having to go through this all again, do you think that you are handling it better at 33 than you would have when you were that kid starting out in late models?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that, obviously my years of, racing short tracks and the maturity that I gained throughout that process and working with that group only prepared me better when I got to the Xfinity Series, right? So I think, at this point, I can't say that I thought we would be in this situation again, when I signed to drive the 4-car right at about a year ago. I think we announced it like a year ago. I can't say that I thought we would be in this situation a year later, but, I think that I'm at my best when my back's against the wall and I have to go out and perform. and I think that we've seen that and time again, and I welcome that and accept that I feel like I deserve a spot racing on Sundays, right? I think I've proved that, and I think most definitely my journey to get here for sure prepared me for that moment, and I'm ready for what's next.
We'll go to Jim.
Tom Krager with the Tennessean. Josh, might be the hottest weekend of the season. Just how will that affect the car? How will it affect you Sunday with the expected hot temperatures?
Yeah, this is always, I feel like, one of the hottest, the first real hot race that we go to. So we're all, preparing for that accordingly, right? Just making sure to stay hydrated and everything. I think the track itself, it's kind of, I guess, unfortunate in a way, but I feel like the track puts on really good racing when it's hot. It lays down a lot of rubber. The groove widens out. I just know it's uncomfortable for the fans. So, hopefully we can maybe find a compromise there. But like I said, we're professionals and we train and prepare for this, and I don't foresee any issues.
Okay, now we'll go to Jim.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. Kind of going back to Jordan's question, is there a bittersweet element to the fact that your performance has taken off in the last 6 to 8 weeks, and that you would have to kind of move to another team? And is that sort of the reason of the focus of the plug and play element, because it would be a much easier transition if you all were to continue as a group moving on to a new team?
Well, I think there's a number of layers to that question, I feel like. But for me is, when I spent a decade racing late models and working on my own race cars and racing with the same group. And I know how important it is having the right people in place and people that you can work with and perform with at a high level, right? Like I physically put my hands on my own race cars and built my own race cars and worked with these people that helped me learn and be a part of that. So, sometimes guys get up here and think it's all me. I can drive that car better than this guy. I have a pretty good understanding. I feel like that it takes everybody to do this, and all the guys that are great at this. Kevin, for example, right, always talked about how strong that group is, and it's true, right? Like I'm living it right now. So I think that I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't fight for them too in this, and I didn't. It would be easier for me to come up here and say it's all about me, but it's not. And Rodney does a great job. Cheddar does a great job. All of our engineers, everybody on that team does a great job. And just circumstance led us to being in this position, right? That we're all looking for work at the same time. And for me, it's I obviously want and those guys would say too. Their number one goal is they want to see me drive a Cup car, right? But I just, felt that I needed to, just not, I guess it's not necessarily fight for those guys, because they're all great at what they do and they're going to find work and be successful wherever they go. But there's still part of me that I want to try to stay with some of those guys if I can. It's just not sure if that's going to be possible. But I felt like at least I know that regardless of how this works out, that I said what I was on my heart and tried to fight for it, and I think that will help me sleep at night.
Any final questions for Josh? Okay, we'll go to Blake.
Blake Smith, Cromwell Media, Owensboro. Josh, shortly after the Stewart-Haas announcement about the dissolving of the team, Haas factory team said they're going to keep one charter. Are any of the drivers currently at Stewart-Haas in the running for that? Has that been decided, or have you all been told you're auditioning for that spot?
Throughout that whole process, right, we heard the rumors of what was going on, and whether there was going to be one charter kept, two charter kept. We read all that stuff on the internet, like all of y'all, and that's where I'll leave that, right? I read it on the internet, so I assume that I'm not a candidate for that ride, and I've had no communication there. So it was, I'm happy. I'm happy that Gene's staying in the sport and continuing that on. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity that I got to come race at Stewart-Haas, right? But obviously, There's probably things that have happened that they required to make a change, and I respect them for that. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I got, and we're gonna move forward in our own directions.
All right, Josh, thanks so much for coming in, and good luck this
Thank you.
weekend.
All right, there's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.